O Vale de São Joaquim, na Califórnia, é desde há muito uma terra conhecida pela sua agricultura e a qualidade dos seus vinhos. Lodi é uma pequena cidade de cerca de 55 mil habitantes, localizada no norte do Vale e onde os portugueses são a quinta etnia mais representativa. Foi também aí que a família Mondavi, uma das maiores empresas vinícolas dos Estados Unidos, deu os primeiros passos antes de rumar à região de Napa. Quando chegamos a Lodi, sente-se a presença e a importância da vinicultura. Depois da autoestrada, percorremos uma pequena rua onde os letreiros indicam a presença de várias adegas. Umas mais pujantes do que outras, mas todas orgulhosamente únicas. No total são mais de 80 que exemplificam a tradição da região. A adega de São Jorge é um desses lugares de eleição. Os imponentes portões e o letreiro não deixam dúvidas quanto às raízes portuguesas do local. Mais do que o nome Jorge, é também evidente os traços arquitetónicos que nos conectam com as ilhas dos Açores.
Well, St. George Winery opened up about 10 years ago, and it's been a vision for maybe 10, 15 years before that for me to have my own winery. I've been around winemaking all my life with my grandfather, who was from St. George, and it was the reason why I named the winery St. George, because he was born in the Azores Island on St. George. And he was a great man, very compassionate, loved food and wine, and I just thought as a tribute to him, he was very proud to be from St. George. He was very proud of his Portuguese heritage.
O orgulho nas raízes portuguesas levou ao investimento nas nossas castas, proporcionando aos seus clientes uma experiência inolvidável. Um vinho 100% produzido por uvas trincadeira é disso um exemplo.
Trincadeira, I was buying some from another Portuguese friend of mine, Ron Silva, and a lot of the first varieties that I bought from Portugal until my vineyards were up and growing. I think there's only about 4 or 5 acres in the United States, and I own half of it. And it's amazing because people come into the St. George Winery, and I ask them if they want to have the most unusual wine they'll ever have in their lifetime. And when I bring out a bottle of Trincadeira, they said, well, we can go to Portugal and have Trincadeira. I said, yes, but my friends in Portugal tell me there's only about 30-40% of that blend going in, but never anyone is doing 100% unless it's doing it maybe at home. But commercial, we're probably the only ones, hopefully in the world, because I tell that story a lot, that are making 100% Trincadeira.
A Califórnia tem condições únicas para a produção de vinho e o clima é uma componente fundamental.
Mother Nature brings a different gift to the vineyard every year. So that's why vintages are different every year. The wines are different. The grapes are the same, but the weather is always different. So you have to manage with that. And so every year is a surprise, and it's like cooking. Sometimes you make a little different meal, maybe you use a little different ingredient. Wine is the same way.
Esse reconhecimento faz da Adega São Jorge um dos mais importantes produtores de vinho na zona, que em 2015 foi denominada a região vinícola do ano pela prestigiosa revista Wine Enthusiast. Ao percorrermos a adega, sentimos que estamos em presença de um lugar onde as tradições continuam a ser um ponto central, que une o produtor ao seu cliente, que une o seu cliente ao seu vinho. Cada detalhe é tratado com todo o cuidado possível. A cave é um espaço privilegiado e as tradicionais parreiras albergam o simbolismo de uma história. As vinhas mantêm um diálogo interessante com o produtor, quiçá ainda ao encontro das suas próprias raízes.
All of my grandparents came from the Portuguese Azores Islands, and my first language was Portuguese. And so I remember when I first went to school, and I was born in Hanford, California. And we were on a dairy, and the teacher knew that I was very awkward, and the kids were making fun of me, and I ended up going home for the first month or so, and I remember the teacher coming home to my parents and saying, you need to teach your children how to speak English and correct them, because they're never going to learn in school if they keep saying Portuguese words and language. And so I was always corrected. And so eventually it was kind of like, you know, you don't want to speak Portuguese at home either. So
Na adega de São Jorge, as castas portuguesas são sinónimo de alta qualidade, procuradas por múltiplos clientes, alguns portugueses.
I would say about 30-40% of the people that visit our winery are Portuguese heritage, and they love coming here and enjoying our traditions.
A inovação faz parte da forma de ser deste português, que não descura uma oportunidade de mostrar a excelência dos seus produtos. O novo Porto Rosé promete fazer furor.
I was last year about a month in Portugal, and we happened to visit some wine shops, some restaurants, and some people who introduced me a very new, at least what we found out was very new, a Port Rosé. Not sure if it's a government approved over there, but we can do anything we want here. So I called up some of my people that are helping me out here at the winery, and I told them we need to put this on our program this year. And so we made it last year, and I have a sample of it if you might grab it. So we have it in a 500 ml. So you can tell the color is somewhat like a rosé, but it tastes like a port. It's got the alcohol of about 19% alcohol, very sweet like a port, and it's got some fresh flavors in it. So I think I'm going to give Portugal an idea here. The Americans that come to your country are going to love this.
Na Califórnia, o precioso néctar com origens portuguesas há muito que é apreciado e procurado.
I've been trying the wines from many of the Lodi area, and this is one that many people kept on mentioning, that they make awesome Portuguese-style wines. So it was on my list to come here, and finally I got to come today.
Depois de uma visita guiada, regressamos ao ponto de partida, a uma estrada que representa o nosso espírito imigrante, onde a barreira da língua, as dificuldades de um começo difícil e penoso, não escondem o orgulho único de ser e sentir Portugal. Na terra do Zinfandel, os vinhos portugueses são já uma marca de qualidade, muito devido à forma de ser e de estar desses portugueses que um dia fizeram da Califórnia a sua própria casa, mas sem nunca esquecerem a cultura e tradições do seu Portugal.